All right, everyone, it looks like we are ready for Touhou 7 Perfect Cherry Blossom Lunatic 1 credit clear by Coral Reef. Good luck. Can't wait to see this.
Hey guys. We're back with not a speedrun per se, but more of a just a completion of Touhou 7 Perfect Cherry Blossom. So awesome. I'm joined by my commentators, Quan and Surrealis. If you guys want to introduce yourself, you can.
Hey, what's up? I'm Quan. I recently just got into Touhou, and this was my very first game, and I think it's awesome. So I hope you guys enjoy this 1cc.
I'm Surrealis. It's been many years since I've played this game, but I've played a decent amount of Touhou and other shmups. So I'm looking forward to seeing this run by Coral.
Awesome. Yeah, they'll be helping me a lot while I try to focus and hopefully clear it on one credit. Hopefully. That's okay, because the clear is still cool. So we're playing Reimu B, and do we have a countdown for this?
We can have anyone who wants to count down.
I can do it. Alright. You ready, Carl?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Awesome.
Good luck!
Alright. Let's get into
So just to explain the screen layout here. On the right side of the screen you have the information on when it says player, that refers to the number of lives that Coral has left. Those red stars and the blue stars for bombs are Coral can press the button to just use a bomb, which will clear the screen of bullets, kill most smaller enemies, or just deal damage to most boss-type enemies. You can also see that Coral's collecting all these power-ups right now. The red ones are the most important for the early game because on the UI you can also see that it says power, and for every 16 power that Coral collects, it'll power up his attacks by one stage. Up to, I believe, 128 for the max level power. Coral should be hitting max power in stage 2.
What's up, Cerno? Yep, Carl's is hitting the stage 1 mid boss right now. It's our girl Cerno. You can see that at the very top, that's going to be her health bar. Once it goes all the way down, you can see that there are multiple health bars. And once it goes all the way down, we would have beaten the boss.
Right, and this is Cherno's first spell card. Spell cards are just the names for the boss's unique attacks with their own bullet patterns and other gimmicks. You can also see the name of it at the top. Some of these spell cards have some pretty interesting names. This one's pretty straightforward, just Frost Columns Lunatic. But if Coral clears each one without getting hit or using a bomb, then it counts as capturing the spell card, which is mostly worth points, but also gives certain other small bonuses for gameplay.
Yep. I'll quickly talk about the point collectibles as well. The blue collectibles are points, as you can see on the right. You have to collect 50 points, and once it reaches that threshold, and it's going to keep increasing, you're going to get a 1-up. So we're going to be wanting to collect as many points as possible to get more resources, so...
Right. I guess Coral unfortunately took one hit. Not too worried yet, but should be getting quite a few more lives over the course of the run. So it's not just start with 2 extra lives and that's all you get type thing.
Yeah. We're already starting to see
Cherry soon. I think I'm gonna pop it now.
Sure. As you can see on the bottom left and on Carl's character, he has a sort of border around him. So every Touhou game kind of has its own gimmick, and Cherry is going to be Touhou 7's chosen gimmick. Once you reach a certain point threshold on the bottom left there, you're going to gain a border, and the border is it's essentially going to act as a free bomb. So you can pop the border, which doesn't consume any bomb, or if you get hit while you have a border, then you're able to just... It's as if you just used a bomb. And you won't lose a life or a bomb.
That threshold is 50,000. It's the number next to the plus sign in the bottom left corner.
Yep.
There's 3 numbers there, so it can be a little bit confusing. But yeah, those are a really nice way to just survive. And that's I think it's like the simplest gimmick that a Touhou game has. So that's one of the things that makes this game really nice for beginners. This is also the first game where your hitbox is visible. One other big mechanics that we didn't touch on yet is the fact that Coral has a button he can use to go into focus mode. And what that does is it focuses the attack into a smaller range rather than being more spread out. And so when Coral goes into focus mode, your character also moves slower, and it shows your hitbox in the middle of his character Reimu's back. And just that little circle is the character's entire hitbox. So Coral doesn't have to worry about the rest of the character getting hit, although it's actually kind of beneficial in terms of scoring to have bullets enter the rest of Reimu's sprite box. That's what the graze counter on the right side is. But just going to focus mode really makes it a lot easier to both see your hitbox and control your fine movements with that lower move speed.
Yeah, Spirialis said you can tell if Carl's in focus if you see Reimu's hitbox, or also you can see that the attack is a lot more focused once he focuses at some point, like right there. It's going to be the red arrows, and it's going to deal a significantly larger amount of damage to the boss, or whatever it's hitting. So, especially during spell cards and stuff like that, Carl's going to be wanting to focus to kill that boss as quick as possible, so you wouldn't have to dodge for so long.
Yeah, and the unfocused mode can be nice for just clearing out these regular enemies to just hit a wider range of them all at the same time. The difference is a little bit more pronounced with some of the other characters. But this character, Reimu B, that Coral's playing, is kind of more specialized in just doing a large amount of damage in a smaller area in front of him, so that Coral can really just burn some of these bosses down a little bit faster and not have to deal with surviving as long in some of these crazy-looking attacks.
Yep. We're getting to Yin Yang Seimon Daimon. And this is honestly a really tricky spell card on Lunatic. You can see the screen's going to shake, and then the bullets are going to rotate a different direction. It can get really tricky to read.
Yeah,
but Carl's
sure.
got it. Yeah, usually Reimu's B variant is going to be the character of choice for just normal clears due to her high damage output, but there's a ton of characters in this game. How many in total?
3 characters that each have 2 different patterns, I believe.
Yeah, and they all have different attacks, both for focus and unfocus as well, and bombs as well.
Right, the bombs are also different. This character, Reimu, that Coral's playing, also has the characteristics that she has a very slightly smaller hitbox than the other characters, and also has a larger death bomb window. What death bombing is these games give you a small amount of time. It's actually a fairly large amount of time in these earlier games. After you get hit, that you can hit the bomb button, and it will use a bomb instead of killing you.
Yeah, the frame window is pretty small though, so it's not something that you could super
For sure.
rely on. But if you happen to catch a bullet coming in your face, then you can.
Yeah, it's still really hard to like react to getting hit. You kind of still need to be on top of realizing that the bullet's about to hit you when you want to hit that button for bombing to clear the screen and save your life.
Yep, on to stage 3 now. This is when things start really heating up. Alice is going to show up really early here as the mid-boss. And yeah, you can see the death sound effect play there, which means that Carl successfully death-bombed.
Good demonstration.
Oh. Yeah, these crisscrosses can be pretty hard to get the hang of.
Can't read, bro. That's okay.
Something which I've learned picking up the game recently is that it's as much of a skill as like actually playing the game as also like knowing when to bomb. Managing your resources really well is like super key in being able to play Touhou well.
Yeah, because not bombing is more punishing than you might realize at first, because every time you lose a life, it also takes you back up to 3 bombs. So if you ever die without using all 3 bombs, you're just wasting resources.
Yeah.
So like dying while you have 3 bombs is kind of like getting hit 4 times in a sense.
I do want to say thank you to everyone who has been donating. We are now only $10 away from that bonus stage clear. I know you all want to see that. Let's just get those last $10 so Coral knows he's got to do more, showcase more of this amazing game. This has been really sick to watch.
Yep, and it's only going to get cooler from here on out.
Yeah, we have $10 from Cactus that says, Archie, Touhou. So true. Thank you, Cactus.
I guess we can touch a little bit about the story of this game, which is pretty simple, but the lore of this game is basically that it's the time of the year, like late spring, but everything's still frozen. It doesn't seem like spring's actually coming, so Reimu, or whichever character you choose, I guess, goes out to investigate, and it turns out that someone has been stealing all of the spring. This game likes to use abstract concepts like that, and I guess at this point in the story, they're still kind of investigating and beating up, innocent anime girls that weren't actually involved in stealing the spring. But we'll see where that spring's been going soon, I guess.
Oh, that's an awesome spell card bonus number, man.
You can see Carl was at 0 lives just earlier, but now we're back at 2, so chilling out a little bit.
While we're watching this, this music is also incredible. We have $20 from Amber Loves Archie that says, "Yo, we need one for Counter-Strike. Hop on."
Yeah, I got you.
You can just pause this, right? And also,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's fine. Thank you, Amber.
Sunday, May 12th, guys. Sunday, May 12th.
Yep,
You know I missed that, man.
me and Carl will be there.
Alright, Quan, what's your favorite spell card name in this game?
What's my favorite spell card name? Ooh, I could say it would be I think the name of the final spell card is really cool, but that's probably low hanging fruit. So there's we'll see the name when it comes up, but it's gonna be the final boss's second spell card. So keep an eye out for that. What about yours?
Probably should have been prepared with an answer when I asked this question, huh?
Killed Alice, good job.
Yeah, some of the Phantasm ones are pretty good.
Oh yeah, true.
Has that incentive been met yet?
Let me do one more refresh. It wasn't the last time I checked. We're only like $10 away, though. Nope. There it is. We got it. Yippee!
Thanks, guys.
Hello,
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
See that?
guys.
Phantasm is really cool.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It was met by a $10 donation from Quan. I thought you were busy right now.
Thanks, man.
What's going on here? It says,
what was the
Marissa,
name?
my
I don't
Pookie
know.
Bear. Thanks, Quan, for making me say that.
So we're going into stage 4, which is actually a pretty big difficulty spike in this game.
Yeah.
In a lot of Touhou games, really.
Yeah, first time I tried this stage, I died instantly.
Yeah, like even just these normal enemy patterns in this level get pretty intense.
Yeah, so Carl's currently playing on the highest difficulty, which is Lunatic, but there's easy, medium, hard, and then Lunatic is the highest one. There's a few differences between the difficulties. Obviously, the patterns get quite a bit harder as you go up in the difficulty, like the density of the bullets and the complexity of the patterns. There's some spell cards which are unique to the difficulty itself. So yeah, it's pretty cool, like sort of playing through normal and then sort of playing the game again, but it's very much not the same game.
Right, and you see Coral has some pretty planned out movement patterns to deal with these attacks, but the first time you try these levels with no plan, it can get real easy to just get hit with a wall of bullets and have no way that you can dodge out of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these enemies also have counterattack bullets when you kill them, so sometimes it's in your best interest to actually not kill these enemies and just let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you can see towards the end there, which Carl did.
Yeah. This enemy is like a mini boss, and an interesting thing about the way that this level goes is that once you kill this enemy, it's kind of on a timer before the actual next boss spawns. So if you kill this enemy too fast, there will be more waves of regular enemies that spawn. And as hard as this attack that Coral's dealing with right now is, those regular enemies that he would otherwise be dealing with are just much more difficult. So Coral is actually intentionally letting this enemy live to, run down that timer and get to the next boss safely instead of dealing with some incredibly difficult enemies.
Yep. Especially as you go higher up in the difficulties, stage rounding becomes super important. Especially if you're playing Reimu B like Carl is, where her attacks are pretty much directed only above her.
Right.
Stage routing can be a bit easier if you're using a character like Reimu A, which has homing bullets, which just sort of demolishes most levels.
Yeah, and I'm glad we saw the Phantasm get met, because the routing through that level is also just really impressive to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something which I didn't expect when I first picked up the game. That I not only do I have to study for the spell cards, I have to study for the stages as well. As we're coming up on the next boss here, I can talk a little bit about aim and anti-aim. You can see that some bullets here. Ooh, this is a pretty neat little mini enemy before the final boss. You can see that some bullets are pretty much static, which is like they don't really change depending on where you are. Some bullets are aimed directly at you at a certain time. And then we have anti-aim bullets, which are sort of aimed away from you, and it sort of punishes you from being too antsy and trying to over dodge. And we're gonna see quite a few examples of both in this boss here, the Prison River Sisters.
Yeah, so one interesting thing about the boss of Stage 4 is that it's actually 3 different characters, and depending on which character you're playing as, the first section of this fight, you'll be playing against a different one of the 3 sisters. So as playing as Reimu, Coral's fighting against Lunasa, I believe her name is.
Yep.
In a second, we're going to be getting into the second phase of this fight, in which you're fighting against all 3. And the interesting thing here is that depending on which one of these 3 that you deal the most damage to, it will determine which one you're going to be fighting for the next phase. And because one in particular is just much easier than the other 2, Coral is just going to be very specifically controlling where his damage is going in this particular spell card.
Yep.
I got her. Don't worry, guys, I got her.
Yeah, so this is Lyrica, I believe her name is.
Yep.
I get their names confused.
We got the target practice this day. It was pretty epic.
Yeah. I think we got it right this time. Also love to see that. I was a little bit nervous when Coral was down to 1 life, but now we're back up to 4 lives and 2 bombs, so
I had to lock it. That face was horrible. Okay, we're good.
Super cool spell card here. I really like these patterns.
Yeah, for sure. There's some really just visually pleasing looking bullet patterns in this game. Really in the whole series.
Yeah, for sure. They don't call it one of the classics for nothing. Like the first Windows Gen games were just incredible.
Yeah. And although it's already been mentioned, I've seen a couple mentions of it in the chat as well. The Touhou's music is out of this world. It's one of the reasons why I decided to get into Touhou and why I liked Perfect Cherry Blossom so much.
Yeah, one thing that's easy to forget, but I think we should mention, is that these games were made entirely by one person, including all the visuals, all the music, all the programming. It's just like really impressive how much effort went into making a game this polished by one person.
That was a really rough sort of pattern which you got yourself into there. I was really hoping
you got the bomb though. So
yeah,
we got it.
Stage 5.
As we're getting into this next stage, we have a $10 donation from Saika that says, "Coral, you the goat, Illy." Very true. Very
Thanks,
true.
Saika.
Thank you so much for your donation. And I do want to say, since we met that bonus stage, we've opened up a new incentive for Void Stranger. And I don't know how to pronounce this, but luckily we have the Runner Spiralis here. Oh, Stranger, if showcase.
Zero Stranger, if yep.
Okay,
Well,
you want to explain that one and why
making
people should donate for this?
I'm also making assumptions on how it's pronounced for the record, but I don't want to get into too many spoilers about the run before it starts, but there is a final section of the game that is pretty unique, pretty different from the rest of the game, and Oh Stranger If is kind of its own self-contained minigame version of it that's also much more difficult, and it's also very punishing, so I can't actually make any promises on being able to clear it, but I hope to win, and if not, at least get to show off what that's all about.
I'm excited to see it. I also don't know what we have in store, so maybe we can get a $5 donation train going for that showcase. Thanks for explaining that. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. If you can look at where Carl is putting himself right now, it's a really cool little redirection you can do for that beginning spell card. It's not the hardest spell card, or it's not even a spell card really, it's a non-spell. But it can get pretty tricky to deal with, so you can completely just redirect that.
Yeah, and this boss fight, Yomu, has a lot of these kind of time manipulating mechanics where she kind of slashes her sword, and at the end of Coral pointed out to me yesterday that you can look at the cherry blossoms in the background as they rotate and kind of stop, and when they stop is when time resumes and the bullets do something. The exact effect kind of depends on the exact spell card she's doing, because there's quite a few spell cards she has.
Yeah.
And they all kind of have different effects. Sometimes they slow down, sometimes they just change directions or move differently. But it's a pretty cool effect. A lot of these spell cards are really cool to play through.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky to deal with as well. Especially if you don't know the cue which Carl talked about. If you don't know when the time starts speeding up again, you can sort of just dive straight into just a string of bullets if you're not careful.
Carl's doing the redirection there again.
Yep.
Just to make this first spell or non-spell a lot easier to deal with. I think it's the second time too.
I guess as this is happening, and talk a little bit about streaming. As I mentioned, that they're aim bullets. So we call it streaming whenever Carl just does a tiny little sidestep when an aim bullet is coming right towards him, because that's all you really need to sort of avoid that. And by minimizing your movement, yeah, that was really rough.
Yeah. It's just an easy way to deal with like a long sequence of those aimed bullets is just moving in small amounts, just continuously being able to use your screen space to dodge as many of those as you can without having to do something more complicated and dangerous like moving through the stream of bullets.
This non-spell is like fairly okay to get the hang of. It's honestly really scary still, sometimes.
Yeah, it just like leaves this little gap for you and then starts throwing knives in that gap.
Yeah. This spell card was not in normal.
True.
It just has like these bullets coming from the sides, and they get sucked up and thrown back down at you. It's
I never
an
really
interesting
noticed.
effect, yeah.
I never really noticed what's happening with the bullets themselves. I'm too busy trying to dodge them, but when you
Yeah, for sure.
actually
Sometimes, sometimes you're
look at it,
just
it's really cool.
focus on the little area around your character, and it's hard to get the bigger picture of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's important, and sometimes it's not.
See, Carl's gonna be streaming a little bit to try to avoid those red bullets there while still weaving past the
Yeah.
blue bullets.
World's been playing really well for these last couple stages.
Yeah.
Normally, you try to like save up lives in the early stages and you know, minimize how many lives you're losing in the later ones, but actually going up in lives is just kind of crazy.
Nice.
Okay.
Pretty good spell card name. Heaven Godsword, 3 cones, 7 hakus. What do we think this means?
What are the numbers
Whole
referring to?
Boxes, man. That's insane.
It's probably some form of Japanese, like antiquated measurements, I would guess.
That makes sense. And that's Yomu down. Really well played.
And now we're on to stage 6, which is the final stage. Touhou games always have 6 stages for the main gameplay route.
Not a usual stage here. It'll be very short and very to the point. Maybe.
Right. Especially, yeah, in these older games, usually there wasn't much of a, like, small enemy phase. Here we just have that one group of enemies, which is not easy to deal with, as you can see, but then we just get back into a Yomu refight, which is much shorter than the boss of the previous stage.
Interestingly, you don't actually want to redirect these ones. It's pretty much the same spell as the one in the last stage, but I think the bullets are moving faster. It becomes significantly more annoying to redirect. This spell is also really funny because the bullets turn silver, making you think that time's going to slow down, and it just doesn't. Get a nice bomb from killing Yomu.
Alright, here's the villain of our story, I guess. There it is.
Yeah, so the story is that Yuyuko here has been stealing the spring in order to try and make this big demon tree bloom, because there's some girl's corpse buried beneath it, and she's just trying to revive them by stealing the spring. And at this point, I guess she's gathered enough to do it, except our character has been kind of throwing a wrench in things, and by fighting us and theoretically taking the spring that we've gathered over the course of the game, she would be able to finish making the tree bloom. And kind of the twist is that it's actually the boss herself who's buried under the tree, because she's a ghost but doesn't actually realize she's dead, I believe.
Yeah, that's crazy. I learned something new about the game today.
Yeah, there's a lot of Touhou lore.
Shout out to this spell, non-spell.
Quan loves this non-spell. I think it's his favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite non-spell. So Carl's gonna be trying to fight for the center here to sort of dispatch this non-spell as soon as possible, but he has to worry about the bubbles, which are aimed, but also the purple bullets, which are also aimed, but he's got it. All good.
Love to see this route.
Yeah, really cool route here. I'm just gonna stay quiet for Carl to focus.
Yeah, just let this speak for itself.
Yeah, as we're watching this nonsense, we do have a $5 anonymous donation that says, joining the dono train for Void Stranger. Yes, thank you so much. That actually puts us at $699 total for PCRF, so close to 700. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated so far. I absolutely want to see that Void Stranger showcase.
Oh my god.
Nice. Definitely a round of applause for that one. Really, really cool route. Not easy
Intense.
either.
Yeah, that was so cool to watch.
Yeah, normally you'd have to deal with some very tricky streaming with those bubbles because they're sort of curved in a really weird way. But doing that sort of skips that whole thing. But it's by itself also super difficult.
As you can see here, some of the enemy bullets also have a smaller hitbox than they seem. Those big orbs are definitely the ones with the most extreme difference between what you can see and what the hitbox actually is. But as you can see, when you play this game enough, you kind of get a feel for where exactly the hitbox on these bullets actually starts.
That's the square method.
Yeah, they were insanely criminal in Touhou 6, the previous game, so I hope that Zone took the feedback and made them a bit nicer. It's definitely killed me a few times when I was playing that game.
One other minor thing is that for every spell card that Coral's captured over the run, so each named attack that the boss does that he's completed without either using a bomb or getting hit, you actually gain more cherry for each little cherry item power up over the course of the game, and it matters a lot in this fight because every time Coral finishes an attack and it clears the bullets, it turns all those bullets into little cherry pickups, and so with enough spell card captures over the course of the run, you can just get a ton of borders during this fight that just make it a whole lot easier to complete.
Yeah. Something that bosses do in this game, though, which you're going to see right now, is wait out your border so you don't actually
Oh wait, next
get
spell,
to
next
make
spell,
use of it.
man.
Oh wait, it doesn't wait out. I thought she did.
I mean, I guess the bubble is the stall, sorry.
Phantasm
this
is for sure, though.
Yeah. And this spell is super duper cool.
It's a pretty solid name. Cherry Blossom Sign, Perfect Ink Black Cherry Blossom Bloom. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Back
the-
corner here. Let me see if I can. Nope, never mind. My bad.
Yeah, the patterns get super dense.
We're
See that
coming
the- up
up on the end of the run, right? There's just
Yeah, we're
one
coming up on
final spell
time
card
here.
after this one.
Yeah.
This is the last spell card, actually.
So we'll have time after all clear, which should
Right.
be
The game tricks you into
next
thinking
minute,
that
man.
was the game tricks you into thinking that last one was the final spell card because it does show you how many there are in the top left corner, and it was displaying that last one as if it was the final one, but then it hits you with this one, which is just survival. You don't actually deal damage during this one. You just have to survive for the full. I think it's a minute. There's 45 seconds left. You can see in the top right.
Yep. We get a super neat reprise of the final boss theme and this super cool spell card, probably one of my favorites in the game. See how Carl's going up close for the red ones, because when they spread out, they're gonna start intersecting each other, and it starts becoming a real headache.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unlucky.
alright.
Yeah, you don't have to play it as aggressively on lower difficulties, but on Lunatic, you really need to do this kind of thing that Coral's doing here.
Yeah.
You can really just see how small the hitboxes are.
There it is. 1 CC.
Nice, and that's time. Well, I don't
Oh,
know.
Wow.
what that
All
is.
clear is right.
Great run! That
Now,
was
wow.
mesmerizing.
Incredible job.
Oh,
You played so well
Yeah,
late
that was
game.
really
Oh
good.
my god.
I died
You
on
played
stage
so well.
after, dude, I died on stage 1 and I felt so bad.
I was getting a bit scared.
Yeah, you had me a little bit worried there.
But don't worry. Thanks to everyone's generous donations, we get to see a little bit more. Want to talk about the stage we have coming up?
Yep. So actually, Carl can introduce himself.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, before we go into the Phantasm stage, I just want to say thank you guys for having this run on Archiethon. This shit is so... I think it's pretty underrepresented in the Celeste community, like shoot 'em ups in general, so I'm glad I got to show the first one. For Archiethon?
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe
So,
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also sent to my amazing commentators, guys, $5 per miss, or $5 per miss, $2 per bomb used, guys. So we have 35 plus 38. We're gonna get some
73.
nice donos, man.
Let's go! Thank you so much for
Let's
that.
I won't be doing it for Phantasm though, but alright. Let's get into it. So yeah. Before I went off about that. So Phantasm, right? So normally in Touhou, like after you beat like for like if you're a first time gamer, you play normal mode, you clear it once you see everything's so awesome. And then you get this stage. So extra stage. So every game has an extra stage after you clear normal difficulty on 1cc. Some games have it different, but that's the general way that goes. But this game has Phantasm, which is the sequel to Extra, and is a bit more... It's mostly the same level, but a bit different. So the stage section should be harder, but the boss should be around the same. And this had a weird, like, unlock. This is like 50 spell cards captured across multiple characters. It's kind of more cryptic, but anyways. I'm ready if my commentators are.
Yep.
Yep.
Or movie, of course. Oh, we're ready? Alright.
Yeah, we're
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, Phantasm. Oh my gosh. Alright,
Woo!
so it'll be a bit different. You might see some slight differences. We're back at stage 5, and yeah, I'll let my commentators take it from here.
Yeah, here we get to see some really cool dodging of these attacks.
Yep. I'm working on my
I just love to
Nice.
see that.
Yeah, you can see the little grays counter going up there. Just farming up some grays.
Yeah, that's the number of bullets that have entered Coral's sprite box without hitting the hitbox. So, already having 400 of those bullets is, pretty impressive. It's a lot. It's a lot of bullets.
Yeah. Not our goal here, but grays actually does give you extra points. So if you're doing a point run, then you're gonna be wanting to farm. You misclick that?
Yeah,
Right.
I was touching my nose, man.
Yeah, score runs for this game are also kind of crazy. There's some attacks where you can just get in places where you probably shouldn't be and just farm graze points in a way that
Yeah.
actually gives you more points than just finishing the spell card faster.
Who's this character?
It's someone in extra stage, but that's okay because we're here now.
So we fought her and her servant in extra stage, and we beat her. So now we're fighting her again as mid boss for Phantasm.
Yeah, the story here is that after the events of the main game, there was a hole between the world that these guys are living in and the underworld that was opened and it never got closed, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and how to get it closed again. So basically they talk to the villain, and then they're trying to go to this Fox Girl to get her to deal with it, and that's what happened in extra mode, and then again nothing happened, and so now we're going to deal with the Fox Girl's master, I guess, and deal with her now.
I really like how the sprites
tired,
spin.
man.
I think it's so funny.
I'm so sleepy.
Yeah, basically the lore is that the antagonist of this mode is just too lazy to deal with the barrier, and is just kind of sleeping. pretty relatable, I think.
Yeah.
One thing that we never touched on is that when Coral's at full power, we can go above a certain point near the top of the screen, and it just automatically picks up all of those collectible items, which is just a nice way to get a lot of these blue pickups to work towards getting extra lives.
Yeah, it's called Point of Collection, or POC for short. And in Touhou 7, you have to be full power to do it, but the conditions sort of change from game to game.
This game also just automatically collects them no matter where you are if you are in the border mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we see just a route that Coral has planned out to deal with all these aimed bullets, because these ones kind of spread out a little bit, so you can't just do the normal streaming type moves. They're also just coming at you from all sides, which makes things hard.
Our final villain is, oh my gosh, it's Carter. Oh my god, guys.
Yeah, this character is very important for Touhou lore that came later, but this is the first introduction. A lot of the important Touhou characters are just introduced in these first few Windows games. This game and Embodiment of Scarlet Devil and Imperishable Night.
Yep, so Touhou's 1 to 5 was made for like a Japanese operating system, I think, and
PC 96 or 98.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably PC 98. Yeah. So 6 and 7 were the first games made for Windows XP. So it's widely seen as like the first two games that you can really play.
Yeah, it was also kind of a soft reboot of the series. Like, I believe in the one before this, Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, is considered the first one in the current canon.
Yeah.
These are also just the first ones that really got a lot of like international recognition for how cool these games are.
Yeah, for sure. If you're like a bit of an internet boomer, you've probably seen that one Ronald McDonald, remix with the "On Owen Was Her." Everyone knows it. That was from Touhou 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really funny because I have all these melodies in my head, and more often than not, I find out like 3 years later that it was from a Touhou. It was from some Touhou game.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how prolific Touhou music is, especially in Japan. There's just an obscene amount of fan remixes of the music, fan games that exist. I think at some point, probably like 15 years ago, I saw a torrent online of Touhou music that was over a terabyte of Touhou music remixes.
They did that in 2008, man.
Yeah, and since then there's just, people are making like exponentially more, so it's kind of insane just how much exists.
Yeah, I know a ton of Touhou music from Kaizo hacks. There are so many ports in various hacks. I'm like, I've never played Touhou, but I feel like I know so many of the songs just from Kaizo.
Yeah, there's no escape from Touhou if you're chronically online.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the health bars. Yeah, so this is one stage, right? I think she has like 12 forms. Pretty chill. Oh, what is my spell card doing?
Nice little bubble reading. Oh.
Yeah, and as you can see, this entire stage is just one really long boss fight. Like, you can see in the top left corner, each one of those little bar segments is how many spell cards are left. So even this far into the fight, there's several spell cards left.
Yeah. Pretty much all of these spell cards are very reminiscent of the extra stage variants of the spell card, but me and Spherehouse was talking the other day about this game, and it's kind of funny how we kind of think that the harder ones relatively in Phantasm are the easier ones in Extra and vice versa.
I'm just trying to scratch my nose, man. I almost died to that song.
You're doing good.
Yeah, we're doing great. I think that was my first miss to a laser that I stepped on.
We're chilling so hard.
My fault.
5 extra lives.
Yeah.
Unlosable, right, Carl?
No, for sure, dude. Right, man?
Right?
There's just no way.
Yeah, all her non-spells are like they're like interleaved between the non-spells and the spells, and all her non-spells are just sort of like throwing needles at you. It's kind of cool. It's a neat little spell here. It's gonna switch between blue and red, and for the reds, he's gonna have to spin around, and for the blue, he's gonna have to stop spinning and go all the way back to the bottom again.
Right. Especially since we're playing as a character that really needs to be directly below the boss to deal damage.
Yeah. Like, unfocused movement like this can be like really weird at first.
Yeah, I didn't know this until Carl told me about it, but the red bullets are actually anti-aim. Well, you won't see them anymore, but
Oh yeah, it is
Depends
affected
on your
directly
movement.
on your swinging speed.
Yeah.
Swing too fast and you get hit, swing too slow and you get hit from behind. Okay. Oh, I love this spell. It's my favorite spell in the whole game, my days.
Oh yeah, this one just looks so cool visually. I love this one.
this spell is crazy. Yeah, I'm working on an extra stage clear of my own, and this spell's giving me a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the Shiki shot in extra is not easy either. Like, this is harder, but that one was also like hard to begin with.
Yeah.
I have to reswing. Oh, good.
Nice. Yeah, these arrows are actually aimed at you. And Carl mentioned restreaming. That's just when you stream back the other way. There's some nuances to how you should do it, so you don't get hit on the way back. But Carl's got it down.
Welcome back, Rand, to the stream.
Yo, Rand's spinning. I love how these sprites spin, dude. It's so funny. It's so big.
Yeah, it's just aimed at you, man. It'll move.
Yeah, sometimes in certain spells, like, the boss sprite itself doesn't hurt you. This is one of them, which it definitely does. So if she runs into you, you just die.
Now we're on a survival spell.
Yep.
So we just have to time this one out for over a minute.
This is a really cool spell.
Yeah, this is also very cool. These
Across the
lasers
state.
just control where you're able to be on screen, and then while staying inside that circle, you just have to dodge these streams of bullets, and then there's just increasingly more of these bullets on screen as time goes on.
Yeah. You have to try to, like, place yourself in a safe spot. And, like, these conveyors.
I'm good. Right? Thanks, man. Whoa, chill!
Alright, let's lock in for this last bit.
And then just bullets coming from all directions as you just have to exist in this one tiny circle in the middle of the screen.
Jesus!
Oh, no.
Oh
my
god, dude. Oh, that was
So
awesome.
cool to watch.
That's
Yeah.
insane, dude.
Wow. Oh, and looky here, we have our $73 from Spirialis. Let's go.
Let's
Thank you,
Realis.
Spirialis.
Donating for Corals, Hits, and Bombs, as promised. And now we're over halfway to that Oast Ranger If showcase, which is amazing. Thank you, Spirialis.
Yep. Donating for Coral and for my own incentives. Love to see it.
Let's go.
Oh, true. Down for your life and death. This is a classic build-up
also really
Extra
cool one to
stage boss.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so many colors, so many bullets of different sizes and different directions.
Alright. She was really nice. She gave me a nice movement there.
And then
Here's
the
second
very
spell
final
that
one.
I was talking about. She's waiting on my board. Look at that. The timer froze. Can you believe that?
Being considerate.
Get to her, baby. Really fun concept here. The bullets, your force into the center, and the bullets come at you.
Yeah, they just stop and then all start at the same time, so you just have to go out and then back in.
Yeah. This pattern is pretty much static, so you can sort of route it, but even then it can get pretty dicey at times.
Yeah.
I should have taken a new route. Well, let's see if I regret it right now.
Some of these...
I regret it so much, man.
Yeah. Just because the pattern's the same every time doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah, that's the most sketch part of Carl's route. I remember watching him do this, and I was like, "Are you sure?"
Do not use this route to learn. Use someone else, please.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about these games. That there's just entire databases of replays that you can just download and play yourself. So even if you're just trying to figure out strats for some weird challenge run, it's guaranteed that like someone else has done it, and you can just find someone's strats.
Well done.
Go home.
Nice.
Go home and sleep. That's me.
Nice job.
Well done.
You're putting up some good scores.
Achy?
Yeah. That's the end of my block. That was really awesome. I hope that was a fun showcase, guys.
Oh, the chat was popping off. You absolutely should go back and rewatch it, Coral. Everyone loved it.
The end of your first
was
block
awesome.
will be Coral will be on right after Void Stranger as well.
That is true.
That's true. We got Osa coming up.
Yep, me and Carl will be playing in the OC showcase, but first,
Yeah, freaking Spirialis.
we have Void Stranger.
On the thing, man.
Have you got your tech check yet? Yes, Spirialis is very funny hearing Spirialis.
I am not sure what I need to do for that.
Okay, yeah, because Spirialis was talking about how he'd have to boot up his stream like mid-com.
Listen, he did it. You two did donations during the run. It's all good, right? We can make it happen. But yeah, thank you so much, Coral. Any last shout outs before we wrap up and get ready for Void Stranger?
Honestly, shout out Archiethon, shout out Zun, shout outs to you. Awesome.
Awesome. Wholesome. Yeah, no, thanks for watching. Carl played super well. That was super fun to comment.
That was really impressive.
Man.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. That was an incredible showcase of Touhou 7 Perfect Cherry Blossom. Really appreciate Coral showcasing that, and Quan and Spirialis, of course, with the fantastic commentary. So now we're going to be getting set up for Void Stranger. I know you all are excited for that run. I am as well.